got a spicy video for you guys here today. So today we're going to be speaking about a platform called Freeway. Now they've been around for, I would say, about a year now in terms of when they opened up things to the public, and they've been able to amass as much as $100 million deposited onto their platform. And on top of that, I think the biggest draw right now, especially in this bear market, is that they can provide you a return of as high as a 43% annualized return. Now you can tell by my title, probably my thumbnail, that this is not going to be a boilerplate video on Freeway where I just plug my referral link and I tell you it's the best thing ever. Quite the contrary. Actually, we're going to look at all the little red flags that we can find, and there's plenty to find. We're going to talk about the owners of Freeway, the owners that maybe are not that apparent to you, and how everything functions. But for starters, welcome to Crypto Saver. Now, if you're new to Freeway, the first question that you might have is, well, what do they do? How do they get this 43% yield? Well, instead of me answering that question, why don't we head over to the homepage of Freeway and hopefully they can give us that answer. So we are currently on the homepage for Freeway. This is for US customers, and at the very top we have this tagline here: ready for more, earn big on superchargers, on your favorite crypto and fiat. We scroll lower, earn up to 43% annual rewards, more value, more access, more control. And then there's all these different superchargers. Okay, so all right, okay, maybe we could use our Bitcoin, our Ethereum, USD, Euro, pounds, Canadian dollars. Maybe we could use those to invest into Freeway. Right back to the yield again. Well, let's see how it's broken down. Well, there's apparently different tiers of superchargers, right? So we saw here, this is the first tier, this is the second tier. So if you have Bitcoin, for example, that would fit you in the first tier. You get 20% annualized return on that Bitcoin, but they're able to increase it 10% points more if you lock up your Bitcoin with them for 30 days. Okay, so they call it a notice period. So you basically tell them, hey, I want my Bitcoin in 30 days from now. Well, if you opt for 30 days, you get an additional 10% points. All right. You get an additional 10% points again if you buy their token, FWT, but it has to be 5% of your whole balance. So if you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you have to own about $50 worth of the Freeway tokens to get that additional 10%. And lastly, I mean, this is the easiest of them all. I mean, who knew getting yield can be this easy? Sign up to the newsletter for 3% more. Just like that. Drop your email address. Could be your spammed email address, doesn't matter. You get 3% more just like that. All together, that's 43% right there. That's how easy it is. But let's keep on going. They speak about their Aubit Prime, which we'll get to later in this video. It's their own prime brokerage, basically, as they write it here. But let's keep on going. Now staking that Freeway token. Okay, now something about a card coming out soon. Okay, referral program, amazing. A mission, something about traditional finance wasn't built with this in mind, so we're doing it better. Okay, and what are they doing, right? We have some statistics here. 150 million plus in superchargers. Okay, 20 million rewards being given out. Amazing. The best staking platform. Wowzers. Okay, keep on going here. Scanning. I mean, something about the hedge funds and institutions get to enjoy much higher profits. All right, that's cool. All right, we get some founders here, team members. We keep on going. Some partners that they have here. I mean, that's them. Okay. Mobile phone app maybe, and that's it. I mean, get you 3% right there if you want to. But I mean, let's be serious here. If I were to take you right now, and if I were to put a gun to your head, and I were to ask you, well, what does Freeway do? How do they make that yield? You would have no clue. You would tell me, shoot me now, because you have no idea. Maybe they flip beanie bags. Maybe the hedge funds hate was it beanie bags? Beanie babies. Maybe the hedge funds hate beanie babies, right? Maybe this is about drop shipping, real estate, something about the market, right? I mean, no clue. And this is flag number one, by the way, red flag number one, not a blue flag, red flag number one. Typically in these money-making schemes, they usually do not focus on what they do. They focus more so on what you can earn. You can get a Lamborghini or a Maserati. You get this house. You can work from a beach. So since the homepage did not give us an answer, I'll answer it for you guys. The way they generate these returns is apparently they have a team of quants. Yeah, quants, quant traders that deliver enormous returns. Enormous returns. So much returns that they're able to bite out 43%, no problem, and give it right to you because they want your Bitcoin. Now, what's even more amazing about it is the fact that these quants that they're able to grab onto their team, they came out of retirement. And I'm serious about that. We are going to bring up a screenshot where in an AMA, the co-founder of Freeway says that these quants came out of retirement. As the question here says, how did Freeway convince the traders to come out of early retirement? Graham, the co-founder of Freeway, says, these guys have won the game already. The only game left is to help other people. I like to think that the Freeway founders brought the heart to the relationship. Social finance and hashtag access for all extremely powerful concepts. If you have no chance of ever needing any more success personally, we are now on this very humanitarian mission. So the way they persuaded these guys to come out of retirement, off their yachts, off their islands, is simply by saying, why do you not want to help other people? And that was enough for them. I mean, it shouldn't even be hashtag access for all. It should be hashtag profits for all. I mean, these guys are that nice to come back and just, get their algos going just for us to take advantage of. Now, when someone asked what the average annual return of these forex quant traders were, how long they've been trading, co-founder says, I don't think I can give that away publicly without checking in with the legal team. I have said in the past, we have had about 3 times what we rewarded out in superchargers and revenues in 2021. Okay? 3 times more. 3 times more. So what we can assume here is, let's say not everyone's maxed out on their platform. Not everyone's getting that full 43%. Some people forgot to enter the email address for that 3%, right? So maybe they're at 40%, right? Okay. Other people maybe have not bought the FWT tokens, right? Their native tokens to get that 10% boost pop, right? Okay. Well, we can maybe say that, let's say between 30-35% is the average return that people are receiving. And if the co-founder said that the returns from the quants are 3 times that, then maybe the annual returns should probably come in at around 100%. Now, someone else wanted some more clarity and asked, what are all the sources of revenue that go into that 43% yield? And Graham answers, we have some revenues from transaction fees. We have trading revenues. We keep buffers in different assets. I'm not sure how buffers in different assets is revenue, by the way, but okay. So sometimes those buffers go up or down and they do work on various sorts of sentiments. Again, not sure how that's revenue. There are also crypto asset revenues as well, and trading revenues. We get trading revenues twice in this paragraph. Okay, so that's the bulk of them. The whole idea of network effects is that if you do get a service and the rest of the group is not getting that service, then there is some sort of fee that gets redistributed back into the ecosystem for its team users. This is all part of building a very strong ecosystem, blah, blah, blah. Convoluted answer, but okay. I mean, we do see that it supposedly comes from the trading revenues, right? It's fair to say. I mean, he did even say it twice, so that's got to have a lot more weight than anything else here. Then we kind of take a step back here because someone asks, every time I tell someone about Freeway, I face the question, where does the amazing yield of the superchargers come from? And the answer was, it's tricky at the moment. We hope to disclose our revenues in the near future, and that will help greatly. Until then, I have no better answer. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, just imagine that for a second, asking a business, how do you make money? How do you make money? And the answer to that is, it's tricky at the moment. So, I mean, that's also kind of weird, right? How he was a lot more in-depth, maybe in the other question or 2 questions, and then here he kind of shoots it down altogether and says he can't answer any bit of it. That's kind of weird. I mean, in general, this answer as a whole is just weird. Let's say for one reason or another, you do want to deposit money into Freeway and get involved to get that 43% yield. So you'd think you'd create an account. You do have to get KYC'd in doing so. And then you select maybe the BTC vault, right? Maybe you want to go into that and deposit your BTC. You're good to go, right? Not so much. It's actually not that clear. Let's look into how Graham explains the whole process. I'll read this with you. You purchase superchargers. So remember, there's like BTC superchargers, USD superchargers, and so forth, right? You don't deposit. You actually buy a tokenized virtual simulation of Freeway Global. With the various superchargers available in those countries that can access Freeway Global and a virtual simulation account using a closed loop US pair FWT, when you buy superchargers from the platforms, then you own them. That's it. Tokenized virtual simulations. I mean, that arrangement of words, terms, could actually look worse if it was spelled in American English, because then it would have the Z instead of the S for tokenized. But good grief, that is one hell of a phrase right there. Tokenized virtual simulations. Now, there's a second part to this. What you use to purchase superchargers is Freeway's revenue. Freeway then deposits its revenues of Aubit Prime, the prime brokerage that they own. Aubit Prime can borrow more money as a prime brokerage and assign that credit as leverage to its best client accounts, such as Freeway's quant trading account. Prime brokerage's job is to lend money to traders that increase trading volume and generate revenues to the brokerage. The crypto is not collateralized. The prime brokerage just can get more credit and provide it as leverage to the best traders. More deposits enables more credit, enables more assignment of that credit as leverage to the best traders. The more leverage, the more can be made trading. There's really no way to recite that to someone fresh, right? A little green behind the ears, and explain to them what just went on in that conversation. It's very difficult to understand that. But the gist of it is that you buy that supercharger. Back to that BTC example. You got BTC in your hand. You buy the BTC supercharger. You hand over your BTC to them. They say, thank you so much. You get this tokenized, simulated, something is stimulated, probably, right? All right, you get those things in return. They're nothing. It's just probably nothing. I mean, I've actually seen like in accounts of when people do put in stuff, there's really nothing. It's not like you get a token in return. I've never seen that. But anyhow, you hand over your BTC, they get your BTC, they consider that as revenue, they're booking it, their accountant is happy. You get nothing really in return. And all you really are doing is you're hoping that in the future, when you want to cash out, when you sell your supercharger to them, they're going to hand over your asset. Because the returns that you are going to be making on that platform, let's say that 43% return, it is being paid in kind. So if you have a BTC charger and you hand it over BTC, your interest that you're collecting is going to be paid in BTC. And at some point or another, you're also going to want to sell your supercharger back to them. And it's up to them to decide as to whether or not they want to buy it off you and give you back your original principal. Now, we'll get into more of why I keep saying they could, because maybe they won't, and so forth. But that's kind of what it is, really. You're just handing them tokens and hoping you can get them back in the future. Now, we're going to pivot just a little bit. I just want to make sure you guys are not getting too bored so far of the flow of the content. And what I want to look and see who else works at Freeway, at least publicly, that we can easily access. One thing that Freeway likes to compare themselves to is a quant firm known as Renaissance Technologies. Well, that's the company name. They're basically known as one of the best quant firms ever in history. They've been able to generate a yield of over 60% pre-fees, like annualized over like 30, 40 years. Amazing returns. They're like top of their game. I mean, little would the world know that there was Freeway out there making 100% return. They'll pop right above that. But either way, right? A lot of people like to point at Renaissance and say, hey, listen, they got over $1 billion under management and they've been able to generate a return north of 50% for so many years on average. Well, when we bring up Renaissance Technologies and we specifically put an engineer, right? Engineer as title for their job at Renaissance. We do get a bunch of people here. We see their locations, most of them in the US, a lot of them in New York, where they study. We have MIT, Harvard, Stanford, a lot of people who took education serious, obviously. So 35 employees. If we do the same for the topic on hand, Freeway, we get 1 employee here out of 38. And Konstantinos, checked his profile. He actually works IT for them, so he's not necessarily a software engineer. So where am I going with this? Well, you would think, right, that if the whole project is based on the fact that there's quant traders, they have access to these quant traders that work for them and generate all this yield, that they would be employed by your company in one form or another, or they would at least drop it in their LinkedIn as a contractor or something. I mean, again, going back to the homepage of Freeway here, I mean, there's supposed to be a firm that makes money from trading, apparently, but there's not a single individual on this list here Dude knows how to read a 10K. This is all like people involved in marketing one way or another. Like you would think that one of the people listed here would be an engineer, but there is not. And on LinkedIn, there's also none. To make matters a little bit worse, as we read this message over here, Freeway's groundbreaking rewards are backed by a heavyweight team with experience at the likes of Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, HSBC, Credit Suisse, Morgan Stanley, Google, IBM. My goodness, look at these names. But we're going to go through this list here. Here's Sadi. You saw her on that page over there. There's no Google there. How about the next one on the list? Matt, CTO. Big deal here. He definitely has a lot more work experience. I'll give him that much. But for the most part, as we look on the list here, I mean, this is just primarily companies, I think. Well, this is way too far back. Let's go like 10 years. He actually was unemployed 15 years there. But anyhow, he was a blogger. He founded a company. He did a Netflix show. He founded a company. Not entirely sure there. Founded a company on the board there. Founded a company. I was part of Freeway. I mean, still, none of those big names that we saw on the list, right? None of those. Next person here. Our other co-founder, the one who keeps answering those AMA questions. His experience ends right there. He was just the director of this firm here, Dynamic Abundance, which we also saw with, where's our girl, Sadie over here. She also was part of Dynamic Abundance. Next person on the list here, Peter Nelson. Let's back it up a little bit. Looks like I clicked through him already a little bit. Global Partnership Director, and don't see any recognizable firms there whatsoever. What about the COO, Chief Operating Officer? Dynamic Abundance comes out though, but other than that, again, just no big names. I mean, we just went through a bunch of these guys. I mean, a bunch of these, not guys, but a bunch of people on this list, right? We just didn't touch the last three, but top 5: founder, also founder, COO, CTO. Went through all those guys. I mean, none of them. All those guys and gals, keep messing that up. None of them fit this bill here. I mean, heavyweight team. I expected something like Tyson, like a Tyson resume, but no. None of that. I mean, even for Matt, right? We looked at his profile. His was probably the longest, right? I had to click expand for him at least. Build initiatives of Amazon, NASA, Unilever, IBM, Hulu. My goodness. I mean, those names did not come up anywhere there in any format. I mean, maybe he had friends and spoke to people that work for those companies, sure. But other than that, we just didn't really see any of those come in on his LinkedIn. But okay, we're going to push forward because now there's even some more juicier stuff for me to show you. And we are going to look at the company records for Freeway. And if you want to bring this up yourself, if you head over to the footer page of Freeway, you can actually see the registration number here and the actual spelling of their company names. You can grab this yourself. You can follow along, even though it's not a live video, but you can follow along. So as we load the company page here for Freeway at this registration office here, we're going to notice a few things as we scroll by. We do see the former name here of Tokenio, right? We have that over there. And if we dig a little deeper, we can actually see any changing records for Freeway. Any changing records for Freeway. So we see that it was renamed over here, right? In February of this year. But what really sticks out, and this is going to be a very important name for the next 5-6 minutes, very important name, this one right here, Tomasz Rozmus, right? Tomasz Rozmus. He was removed as a board member. And as we dig a little more deeper, we can see that our boy Tomasz here, there's 3 companies connected to him. We have Freeway, we have Tokenio, and we have Brand Token. Let's do Tokenio first. What is Tokenio about? Okay, it was founded in 2018. I'm just on some website here called ICO Holder. They describe themselves something about Tokenio is a cryptocurrency exchange whose investors are rewarded 50% of the income paid out on a daily basis. Hold up. So this Tomasz guy was part of Tokenio, and he was promising 50% returns back then for people who got involved. 50% returns. But then he company was changed over to Freeway, and they downgraded us to 43%. So we're losing 7% points right there. That's something to keep in mind. But anyhow, if we scroll a little lower here, we do see Tomasz Rozmus appear right here, right? So we get confirmation, further confirmation from the interwebs that he was running behind it, right? If we go over to the Tokenio page here, it says the world's first community-owned crypto exchange, and once again we see that 50% of the income paid out on a daily basis. Amazing. You could buy the token if you'd like to do so, but we're probably 4 years late, 3 years late, 3.5 years late to buy that token, but it was available to us. Guaranteed 50-50 distribution of income between the holders and the exchange. Okay, we can see all this went down in 2018. Oh, wait a minute. There's Tomasz, CEO, front and center. There's our boy. I mean, that's full confirmation, I think, right? That we connect him. That's a connection right there that Tomasz was involved in Tokenio. And what if I told you that Tomasz even has a trading website? Here it is on the screen right here. Our boy Tomasz here, look at him, looking all dapper. Playing the stock market, how to start, stock exchange, training, analysis, education. Tomasz Rozmus. I'm butchering that name, sorry, buddy. Stock market analyst, investor, entrepreneur. There he is again. Sign up to his newsletter to get his current analysis and transaction plans. I mean, here he is. He's got his whole website about him. It's written in Polish. On top of that, he makes YouTube videos. They're also in Polish, though, but he does make YouTube videos. There's quite a bit of videos. I think he definitely put out more videos than I have ever put out in videos, but he kind of stopped a year ago, which coincidentally enough kind of probably falls in line with when Freeway was incorporated and when they began to open things up to the public of the FWT token, but that could just be circumstantial evidence. Whatever it might be. But we do know that Tomasz is involved in trading in one way or another. Just pictures of him here speaking. I mean, there's a lot of monitors. Look at this. Those are definitely candles in that monitor. So we know he's a trader. He could even be that quant trader himself, Tomasz. I mean, he's on the board of members. Used to be. He's got a trading blog, trading website. YouTube videos about trading. Suit and tie about trading. So he's very much connected to Freeway, in my opinion. But then we hit a snag, which is this website right here, which is registered as Tomasz Rozmus. I mean, his name, first name, last name, and the tagline here is a bit rough. Crypto scam master. Be aware, every day someone is scammed by Tomasz Rozmus. My goodness, every single day. And as we go down this list here, I mean, we do see his faces. I mean, this is still the same man, but everything that we see on this page is negative information about him. Obviously, there's someone out there that possibly was wronged by Tomasz one way or another and decided to take out his rage by creating this website, maybe also to inform other people. Now, before I read one of these articles, I tried to verify to some extent some of the claims that were being made. I personally could not. It doesn't necessarily mean they're false, but it also, I guess, take things with a grain of salt, because naturally, yes, it does seem like someone, has something out for Tomasz here. And as we look at one of these articles here that was published on this blog, I'll reread this out. 2018, Tomasz visited several countries in Europe looking for investors for his tokenizing platform. Finally, he receives invitation from a very large Polish community in UK. Tomasz crowdfunded hundreds of thousands for his new project, which was the world's most transparent crypto exchange. In exchange for money, he issued TEO coin. More coins you buy, the more profit share you can have from the exchange. The crypto exchange name Tokenio came to exist, which again, he sits on the board, and we also saw him as part of the employees. The exchange started to pick up in 2019 at the beginning of crypto hossa. And this time, a lot of people bought crypto and keeping BTC and so forth. 2020, in the pick of buying, a lot of people, I'm sure the person who wrote this is probably Polish himself. English is likely not their first language, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that the English, I know several languages fairly okay. I can't write to save my life, so, I'm not going to criticize this person for their English here. But as they basically say, it's very difficult to withdraw BTC from the platform. And in February 2021, Tokenio closed up and investors were promised to get the crypto back by contacting support, which was always quiet. Investors left with silence and started to contact police and Polish prosecutor office, which starts discovering that it was a sophisticated chain of Tomasz companies for the purpose to launder money and to bring evidence and bring proof evidence of criminal action to judge and prosecution very difficult. This chain of companies in many countries leaves investors with the conclusion that it was professionally planned and executed to scam. April 2021, support is quiet. The Tokenio office in Poland is closed up. Tomasz pretends to open a Telegram group, which goes quiet again. Finally, the Polish prosecution office closed bank accounts of old company Tokenio and new company Cryptowalty. At the time, the theft and fraud of Tomasz became obvious. Prosecution finds no BTC in ETH on exchange and lots of money from investors are missing. In June 2021, Tomasz leaves to Dubai and starts a new company, crowdfunding and new forex crypto courses. Till this time, police prosecution office investors and robbed crypto holders are left with questions. The closest friends passed a message that he is not coming back and moving over. Now, you can read this website yourself, make your opinion about it, but it's obviously not a good look. It's not a good look that this person is claiming that Tomasz ripped off a lot of people in that previous project. And again, he is intertwined with Freeway. On top of that, Tomasz is also connected to two other companies. One is called Brand Tokens, something about tokenize your brand, reward your customers. I mean, it starts to become very clear. And I think in this case, you can make the connection if you go to the people that work for the company right here. Tomasz Razmas appears right here. And the last one would be Personal Tokens. He also operates that one. And you can actually see here all these like little placeholder names and so forth. A lot of them are Polish. But anyhow, the point I am driving here is that he had been bouncing between projects over and over again to try to see if something will hit big. And Tokenio obviously was a big hit for him. Probably made a lot of money off that. And I guess the question is how involved is he today with Freeway? Now, for the average Joe, showing everything that we've shown in this video so far should be enough to dissuade you from investing with Freeway, in my opinion. But if it's not, we're going to continue. And we're going to move away from Tomasz for a bit and look at the actual prime brokerage that Freeway uses that they also own, called Aubit Prime. And as we're on this website, what I want us to look at is specifically this phone number right here, because that's where we're going to begin our investigation. Now, the very first thing that I find is that this same phone number has been used by this other company named Magna Trust. Now, I did have to bring this up from archives because they've been down now for some time. But this is exactly the same phone number that is found on the Aubit Prime Contact Us page. What's even more interesting is if you look at all these different licenses that appear here, right? This one, the LEI number, all of these have been copied and pasted right over here for Aubit Prime. I mean, you could even do this yourself, like a little exercise for you, right? Just take this right here. Just search that on Google. We have Aubit Prime, which actually was also Freeway. I think they used to be called Aubit Prime before, something along those lines. But anyhow, Aubit Prime is also Freeway. It's the whole basket of people there. But it all points to Aubit Prime. And that's it, right? Aubit, and so forth. And Magma. What was it again? Good grief. Magna, right? This one didn't appear on Google, so I had to find it a different way. But anyhow, that's the same phone number. And the same licenses appear there. Take it a step further. That phone number belongs to a man named Christos Vasilio from Greece. Okay, again, that same number. So this number appears for Christos, appears for Magna Trust, appears for Aubit. I'm getting a tongue twister right now. And we can bring up his LinkedIn ourselves here, and we can see that he is also an experienced energy trader, portfolio manager. So he actually does trading himself. He does do trading himself. And at some point, he actually was a managing partner, well, still is, for Nova Trade. Let's bring up Nova Trade. So this is Nova Trade. And as we scroll below here, Nova Trade is a trading and investment firm. We manage our own portfolio of investments, okay? Their address, I mean, there's no phone number here. But what we do know, again, is that the person that is a managing partner here has that phone number, the same phone number found all out there, right? And going back to Magna Trust for a second here, since I didn't show this to you guys, I mean, what they offered beforehand, right? Like, what were their services here? Like, what do they do? We'll let it load. I mean, it's coming from archives. Takes a little bit of time for it to load. So they had forex, they had options, they had web trade here. You know, I did have a bunch of licenses, forex trading. I mean, this was what they were offering. But anyhow, that phone number connects all three of these people, especially the licenses, okay? The licenses that are found specifically for Magna Trust are the licenses that you now see for Aubit Prime down there. For Aubit Prime. Now, it does throw me off a little bit that, like, what I'm assuming here is that they acquired Magna Trust. They just acquired it. That firm is probably defunct to begin with. And typically when you do acquire a company, usually you 301 redirect that company over to the new company that swallowed them up, but they didn't do that here. But whatever. They probably bought them out and got their licenses. It does kind of blow my mind that basically the licenses that they were able to get from Magna Trust, that they're just using that to run their prime brokerage. Just small little brokerage out in Greece had all the licenses required, but I can't speak on that. I wouldn't know enough. So that's just kind of like first impressions, right? Just looking at that. Now, one other thing I wanted to do, I wanted to actually see, like, do people actually use Aubit Prime? Are there regular Joes that sign up and use it? I mean, the site does seem to be functional and all. Like, you can go through it and make an account. I did not. I'm not looking to give them my information. And so this is a tool that I'm using here. It's called Ahrefs. It's usually a tool used for those that are trying to focus on search engine optimization. You know, move your rankings on Google organically up. And what we're seeing here is a report for interactive brokers. The reason I use them is because they are an international brokerage. People use them in the US, people use them in Europe to make trades in the forex market and equities, options, and so forth, commodities. You know, I'm not going to give you the whole spew here, but referring domains basically tells us how many other websites are linking to interactive brokers. Organic keywords tells us how many keywords do they rank for on Google that they don't pay for. They just appear there because Google thinks they're relevant for. Organic traffic, an estimate of how much traffic monthly they get from Google. And PPC, which is at just above 2,000, tells us that they pay Google to be at the very top for ads for 2,000 different keywords, right? So you can tell it's active, right? It's popping. Go to paid search here, will actually show us what ads they actually get specifically, right? It's right here. How about Aubit Prime? What's going on there? This is what's going on here. We got referring domains 20, organic keywords 12, organic traffic 11. I mean, it looks like it's dead in the water. At the very least, it looks like there's very little attempt to try to drum up business for it, right? They're not paying for any ads on Google to try to advertise Aubit Prime. You know, it's almost there. It's just like an entity to sit there and to move money to allegedly trade with, right? Again, this doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have other clients and so forth, but in terms of trying to showcase themselves as a full-fledged brokerage that offers all these tools and that they're so great and so on, you'd expect something a bit more, right? Now, moving back to some of those AMA questions. Now, they hold AMAs weekly, by the way, okay? So there's like weeks upon weeks of MAA content that I went through to get some of these questions that were answered. And some person asks, like, why is there so little discussion about the quant and trading side of the business? There's a response here saying that trading results have nothing to do with supercharged simulation rewards. That's a crazy sentence, actually. They're basically saying like those APYs are not connected to the trading results. I mean, I've kind of said that earlier before subtly, but they're really saying it right here on paper. Your APY is not coming from that. Then where is it coming from? Where is the APY coming from? Now, again, I get it. They're saying this for legal reasons. If they were connected, they probably would have to get some other types of licenses to be able to say what they do say. Or maybe it's even more nefarious than that. That if hypothetically they decided to run away with your money and you sued them and you said, hey, you took my money, they're going to say, we didn't take anything. You bought our supercharger. You got our stimulated tokens. You still have our stimulated tokens. We never had to buy them back from you. I mean, I don't know. But they constantly run around this little circle here of telling you whether or not the trading results matter, whether it helps with the yield or so forth. They mentioned liquid buffers here have increased by 13 million this year. We'll get to that in a second. And it says we still do not know if we will publicly disclose our trading or revenues and so forth. Okay, anyhow, buffers, basically they're looking at how much money is there in these simulations and how much money do they have, right? That's it, right? If everyone were to redeem today and they had to pay out 150 million, if they have 170 million here, they could pay them out. They consider that to be the buffer, $20 million buffer. They say they have a $13 million buffer, which also kind of is strange because we reverse a little bit. We heard that for 2021, the quants were able to triple what they were paying out for that year. Now, I can actually confirm that the results of the trading have nothing to do with the yield that you're earning, because I had someone that is signed up to Freeway, not anymore though, but I asked them, hey, take a screenshot every 30 minutes, an hour. It was on various days to just show me as the money comes in. How does it tick up, right? Does it look like someone's trading or not? And I mean, for starters, if you were taking a screenshot once an hour, I mean, the balance just went one direction, right? Just naturally. Obviously, if you're trading, it only goes one direction. But it makes sense now when they say they probably do not connect it, that whatever happens with the trading side, the other side of the stimulus is not replicating that by any means. It's probably just like a little like script that increases that value. That's all it is, especially because the last test that I did, and I'm gonna throw all these little screenshots as I talk right now. The last test that I did, well, I had him do, was on a Saturday night Eastern time. And the thing about that is that the forex markets are closed on Saturdays. But that didn't stop the supercharger balance to continue going up. So again, when he says that they're not connected to one another, yeah, he's telling the truth there. Now, this is an interesting question. And the reason being is that, let's say, again, you deposited BTC, you put in one BTC that's worth, let's say, $1,000, right? They can take that one BTC for $1,000 and they might likely sell it and have $1,000 and deposit that into a brokerage account to trade, right? If we go along with what they say. But what if a few months down the line, BTC doubles in value and you want to sell your supercharger and you want to get your one Bitcoin back, your principal back as well? Well, Freeway has to go out to the market and pay double what you gave them for the BTC, right? That's on top of all the yields and so forth. Like, how is that handled, right? It's a very fair question. It's a very fair question, especially when they only have a $13 million buffer, when we saw in the beginning of this video that they have over $150 million in simulations. Well, I mean, their answer here specifically says, it is important to understand that we have no legal obligation to maintain equivalent or greater value of assets than is simulated in the simulations outside of them, but we are very incentivized to do so the project continues to grow. That's the answer. That's the answer to what if that were to happen, okay? They have no legal, I mean, again, it's a non-answer. And someone else tried to dig into the whole question about these quant traders, like, do they even exist? Do they have a contract of Freeway? Is there going to be financial audit? Our boy Graham responds, thoughtful question, let me explain. Today we have these superchargers. They're unregulated utilities, closed loop utility tokens that are essentially tokenized virtual simulations. My goodness, they could have at least dropped the word virtual there. There's no obligation on any of it. Once you bought it, there's no obligation for anyone to do anything except leave you with your simulate tokens. It's such an important line, and so many of you have to drill that in your head. From a legal perspective now, from a moral and from an aligned incentive point of view, and the continued business of Freeway, there's obviously a greater number of incentives and probably more incentive than there would be if there was a legal obligation. If you counted just a legal obligation, nothing else, you'd probably get more incentive from our side to continue because we're trying to build something amazing here for everyone. You're not going to find out where the trade is on. That's not how it works. You got to remember that we operate algos. That's what we do. It's not so much the trade, it's the algos. It reminds me of, what's his name? That grifter, who's like, knowledge. You know what I love more?
You know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
We have the raw trading data. We have the raw trading data from 2021, and we're working with a specialist group to finalize an audit, which we're expecting for the next 2 weeks. Whether or not we get it in the next 2 weeks, who knows? But I'll be very surprised if we don't have it by the end of June. Spoiler alert. They did not get it by the end of June. And they've been promising it for months, by the way. For months. Let's get away from those AMAs and look at this FAQ. It's gonna be better, trust me. So we have a question here. Is there a financial safety net to ensure platform users cannot get damaged by hacks or scams? Is Freeway protected? Freeway has many fail-safes. We use the top custodians for all assets under management. We are working with institutional grade custodians for digital assets, Coiny Finance, who have settlement procedures in place that work with big institutions. That's impressive. Problem is that our boys at Coiny have gone insolvent about a year ago. Well, article was updated maybe 9 months ago or something like that. But yeah, they've gone insolvent. Now let's take a look at this. So Aubit or Orbit, again, they're basically the same thing here. I mean, they love to showcase their awards here, right? As you could see here that they were given an award for best brokerage and fintech. People congratulating them, being proud of them. I mean, that's cool. You know, and here we also see from Aubit Prime, probably announced, you know, Europe's most trusted broker, most innovative broker, and best trading conditions. We want to thank Ultimate FinTech for recognizing our achievements. But as you know, there's a problem. Ultimate FinTech is a marketing agency. And look at all these award categories that they have. Look at all these bright and uprising brokerages here. Well, we see our boys here at Aubit Prime. Again, Aubit is connected to Aubit Prime and to Freeway. They're here, right? They got, I mean, best trading conditions. I mean, they weren't lying. There's other rewards right there. But the issue is, I mean, first of all these other brokerages, I never heard about them ever. I doubt you have. And some of these categories, it's kind of weird, right? Most transparent broker, most trusted broker. Okay. Best IB program, best affiliate program, best trading experience, best customer service, best prime trading account, best copy trading platform, best mobile trading app, best trading execution. But the best trading execution, but we have best trading conditions, okay? Best forex spread, best withdrawal plan, best white label solution, best emerging broker. I mean, best emerging broker, but we have best newcomer broker there. Best hybrid broker. You get the gist here, right? It, again, my opinion, right? Speculating. If you hand Ultimate FinTech some bills under the table, a little reach around, they'll put you in a category or they make one for you. Now, in the past 48 hours, we've seen a lot of new developments happening with Freeway, specifically yesterday on Tuesday. People noticed that a wallet that was specifically meant to handle bridged funds between two different chains for Freeway tokens all of a sudden began to dump tokens of Freeway, even though they shouldn't be doing that. Now, this wallet was holding 10 billion Freeway tokens. And all of a sudden, yesterday, as we look on this list here, they were dormant for 240 days. This wallet was dormant, and then 21 hours ago, they decided to start dumping these tokens. They dumped a lot of them. And now this wallet is down from 10 billion Freeway tokens to 9.6 billion Freeway tokens. And Freeway's comment to that was basically that this bridged wallet was compromised and someone took advantage and sold these tokens for profit. And Freeway has managed to take hold of this wallet and send it to a wallet that is fully in their control. But what's weird is who had control over this wallet, and apparently it was these guys. Coffee.io. They put out a statement. Well, they did make a statement saying that, you know, this wallet was compromised and someone took advantage and sold the Freeway tokens. And at the same time, days prior to that, maybe the same day, they even made a comment kind of saying that they're putting a pause to their whole project, that they make games, right? The coffee game universe, because their bank accounts in Russia and so forth have been frozen. They have no access to funds. So they have no access to funds. Everything's been frozen. And then right soon after, someone takes advantage of this bridged wallet and sells a bunch of Freeway tokens. The cynic in me would say that it possibly be the guys behind Coffee. You know, if their project is dead, they can't access a bunch of money. Their vision of riches from this game, I'm not sure much about them, right? Again, it's a full-on speculation here, bro. Full-on speculation. Push comes to shove, they're like, screw it. We're basically done as it is. let's sell some of these tokens. It's just weird the way it was done, you know what I mean? Because they sold, a small portion of what was available, and then they just stopped selling it, and apparently that's it, right? That the person who compromised the wallet just walked away. That's not typically how it works, right? I mean, the person who compromised the wallet, who took advantage of the wallet, could have just sent all of this over to a new wallet if they wanted to, right? That's weird. Now, the funny thing is they couldn't sell any more than they basically did because the liquidity on the DEXs was very, very poor. The funny thing is that's probably the biggest thing that stopped them from selling more in that moment at the very least. But anyhow, this brought on so much fear. As Freeway token holders were seeing Freeway token dump by as much as 70%, 80% in those moments, they were wondering, are we getting rugged? And that's a fair question. And the funny thing is, I don't believe that this was Freeway trying to do it. It would be a very dumb way for them to try to exit a scam if they were to do it. I think it might have been the guys at Coffee, in my opinion. But either way, it's a problem. It's a problem because, usually if when someone bridges funds from one chain to the other, that other wallet on that chain, when they spit out the tokens, they're only supposed to do it when tokens get locked up on this other chain, right? Freeway is supposed to have a 10 billion max supply of their tokens. Right now, it's more than that, simply because these tokens from this wallet were sold into the market. And people obviously don't like that. And throughout the day today, we've seen Freeway basically somehow stop trading within Uniswap, basically. They froze that, so you couldn't trade on Uniswap on the DEXs. Apparently on the centralized exchanges, you could still do that. What they also did, actually, they froze the price of Freeway on their platform. They basically put an artificial floor. They said, no, Freeway is not trading below this price. Now, the reason why they did that is because, remember, to get that extra 10% points of benefit for your APY, your Freeway tokens must be 5% of the value of your supercharger. Well, if your Freeway tokens drop in value, you have to buy up that token. Obviously, that would make people even more upset that, wow, look, someone's wallet got compromised, dumped Freeway tokens. Now I have to spend more money to buy Freeway tokens to try to get those 10% points, especially after an 80% dump, right? So they kind of said, we're going to freeze it at this other number right now. It's like 0.08, maybe there's an extra zero in there somewhere, but it was definitely an 8 at the end. And they did that. They had some issues with the DEXs, and they just released a little comment, a pin, basically saying that they might even do a hard fork and roll back things with a snapshot, which is also pissing people off that bought the dip, right? So there's also more drama when it comes to that. I don't have the smoking gun to call Freeway Ponzi, so I'm not going to call them a Ponzi. I simply do not have information to be able to call them that. But as my mother used to say, if it walks like a duck, sounds like a duck, looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Or another one, if there's smoke, there's fire. If I had money with Freeway, I would pull it out. That is my personal opinion. That is what I would do. In general, their returns do not make sense. If they were generating 100% returns by trading, they would not open it up to the public. The whole talk, the whole mission statement about bringing what they call hashtag access for all, I call it hashtag profits for all to everyone. That's something that you write in the book, right? The world does not work like that. There's no one so generous to come out of retirement because they want other people to become rich alongside of them, okay? The returns that they are saying of 100% is massive. Again, the best quant firms in the world don't hit triple digits like that, especially over a longer period of time. That claim alone should turn you off from the project. More importantly, with any algo, if you've ever tried to build any sort of algo, even read books about it, you will find out that no algo works in all market environments. And even if that market environment stays the same, some algos just stop working and it's unexplainable as to why. It's something that's constantly has to be tweaked and redone. And just because you know how to tweak and redone does not mean that the new iteration of that bot will work as well as did previously. But as we've seen with these returns of people getting paid back their superchargers and so forth, everything looks so stable. I mean, we've seen the markets go through such a crazy volatile period of going up and then going down over the course of the last 12 months. And you want to tell me that their strategy just took it all in, no problem. No downtime, no down draws. That doesn't make sense. Now, some of you Freeway fanatics might look at this video and call it FUD and say that I'm a paid shill for maybe JP Morgan and I'm trying to keep the big profits away from the little guys. And you might be right, but you're probably wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion, and it's just way too many red flags for me to feel comfortable with my own money. And I'm just sharing that with you guys. Now, I know there's other YouTubers out there, larger ones as a matter of fact, such as the Calculator Guy, who's kind of started looking into Freeway as of recent, the past few months, and he supposedly gave them a stamp of approval and said it looks good to him. Now, personally, I don't think he dug into Freeway the way I dug into it, right? Looking at the company records, the connections in the background, and so forth. So I do not have the same opinion that he does. You're also going to notice that if you search for Freeway on YouTube, you're just going to find the search results littered with positive comments about Freeway. And all that is due to the referral program that Freeway has. It's a very generous referral program for influencers. Influencers stand to make tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, by pushing Freeway onto you. I'm also aware that the Calculator Guy recently signed an NDA and got access to some of the trading history that Freeway was willing to share. And that's cool. I mean, he said it looks fine to him. Now, where I'm going to play a little bit of a cynic here is, so Aubit Prime, if you were to make an account of them, the trading software that they use is called MetaTrader. It's been around for ages now. And one thing that you will know if you do a little bit of research is that MetaTrader has been used by grifters in the YouTube space for a very long time for one specific reason. It is very easy to fake trades within MetaTrader. It is very easy to backdate trades in MetaTrader. With a few clicks here or there on an app on your phone, you can showcase, look at all these great trades that I made a month ago, weeks ago. I shorted the top. I bought the bottom here. Look at all these profits here. Look at my account balance. All of that could be done with MetaTrader. Again, you're free to just YouTube search this by grifters using MetaTrader. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that it's difficult that if Calculator Guy, for example, was given reports or shown how their MetaTrader account looks like, it's difficult to tell whether or not those were real trades. We just do not know. Typically, the trades will be placed on MetaTrader and then they will be sent through an APY to a brokerage, and the trades will be placed on the actual stock market or whatever market it might be, forex market, right? That's where they will be placed. But if there's no connection there, you can put whatever you want, especially if the software allows you to backdate things and if it's not connected to anything. Which is why I'm leery about anyone who's saying that they looked at the trading history and everything checks out to them. And that's all I wanted to say. And that's all I'm going to leave you guys with. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, if you learned more, give it a thumbs up. If you feel I got something is wrong, if you feel indifferent, you can leave it your comments in the comments, right? I do want to give a special thank you to two individuals, Jason and Al. They both left me a super chat donation in my very last video. That is very kind of you, and I appreciate that, so thank you so much. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.